The United States, over many years and 2 presidencies, pieced together the information of how to get to Osama bin Laden. Obviously, information gleaned in that effort by our intelligence people contributed to this.
Welcome back to Harbor. That was former Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice, of course. That was Tuesday. She was speaking on the Today Show. She's being diplomatic. Of course, some other Bush administration alumni are not. Why is credit for killing bin Laden becoming so partisan so quickly? We're joined right now by MSNBC political analyst Jonathan Alter and Talking Points memo, Josh Marshall. Gentlemen, thank you much for joining us. Let me show you a poll, which is kind of fascinating. It's a Washington Post Pew poll just out yesterday. It shows that 61% of Republicans give the president credit for what happened the other day in killing bin Laden. And 81% of those same people gave the credit to President Bush. Now, I think we all know, John, that this country's gotten more polarized than you can remember it. But isn't this interesting? You're looking at the same thing, really. You're looking at what looks to be very, very competent work by the CIA under Leon Panetta's instructions, by the president overall command and control of the situation, a deliberate decision to go this way rather than going with a predator, a lot of decisions made over a course of almost a year. And how do you not give the lion's share of all those decisions, which were made by this president, to someone else who wasn't there making these decisions? Your thoughts?
Look, a lot of these things are the result of actions by more than one administration. People tried to say, Ronald Reagan won the Cold War, and it was something that Democratic and Republican presidents over many years contributed to. So it's true that the Bush administration contributed in some measure, because starting in 2005, they did refocus and begin to chase bin Laden. But before that, and this is critical, and it's been completely missed in most of the commentary, they let him get away at Tora Bora. So for Don Rumsfeld to be talking on the subject at all really takes a lot of nerve. He and Tommy Franks refused pleas to provide more military force at Tora Bora. If they had done so, we would have nailed Osama bin Laden in 2002. So, it's rich for them now to try to be claiming credit for this.
Yeah, they didn't want to suffer too many casualties going through the mountains there, I guess. That's what I thought at the time, right? They thought,
that's right.
We'll wait him out and we won't close the door on the back door and the guy, he gets away. My larger complaint when we get to Josh, let's go to Josh now. My larger complaint is they went wrong way like on a football field. You're running one way to get a touchdown, catch bin Laden. All of a sudden, no, wait a minute, let's go to the other goalpost. Yeah. And they go running the other way and they go to war in Iraq. It has nothing to do with this guy. And we lost thousands and thousands of people. We waste years and years and years in a war that has nothing to do with what happened this week. And now they say, did you see we did this thing? No, you didn't. You went to the other goalpost. You were going a totally different direction. You thought getting Saddam Hussein was the name of the game. Your thoughts, Josh?
Well, I agree with your point. There's what happened in Tora Bora. There was the larger, refocusing of attention onto Iraq back at the end of 2001. But I think the big picture here is that these questions about credit and is this really George W. Bush's victory or whatever, these are the kind of things that appeal to already committed political partisans. And I think the big political picture here is that there's really nothing anybody is going to be able to say to take the credit away from Barack Obama over this. That doesn't mean people won't try. That doesn't mean that a lot of Republicans won't continue to say it's George W. Bush. But what it really comes down to politically, in a sense, George W. Bush's credit is irrelevant in a political context today. He's no longer on the ballot. I think what this really comes down to is that going into 2012, Republicans had decided that they were going to run against this caricature of President Obama as someone basically vacillating, hesitant, someone who doesn't really understand the dangers that face the United States and the world. And that was the horse they were going to ride. And this incident, this victory for the U.S. that President Obama made the key calls on is just a very straightforward, and I think for most voters who aren't already totally committed to the other party, a pretty convincing argument that you say, look at how President Obama dealt with this situation. And it really puts the lie to that caricature.
Gentlemen, just to show the caricature, let me show the caricature, the cartoon version. Here's Rush Limbaugh today. Let's listen to Rushbo.
I mean, it was gutsy on Sunday, but on Monday it was really gutsy. And yesterday it was profoundly gutsy. And today it was unbelievably, incomprehensibly gutsy. But isn't that a bit of a stretch? Especially in view of the fact, look at it this way, if it ever got out that Obama had passed on a chance at capturing or killing bin Laden, Obama's political career is over.
You know, I don't even know what that is except just bitterness. I mean, whoa, 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 the walrus underwater talking. And what is he actually saying? I'm ticked off this guy did something great. That's really what Russia's saying.
Yeah, look,
isn't it, John?
He even on the first day, he wouldn't give Obama any credit. He delivered this satirical rant against him. The guy has no class or graciousness, not a shred of it. Not that that's a big surprise, but this is just more proof of that. And by the way, something that happened in an earlier segment where Cliff May said, as if it was an objective fact, that these harsh interrogation techniques led to this, that has not been established at all. That is very much in dispute. And actually, the best reporting suggests that it was only when KSM and other high-value detainees refused to say they'd even heard of this courier that they got suspicious. So there was nothing that was connected to these techniques. And finally, just on the large point, Chris, this is really important. If they want to take credit away from Obama for this, then they have to also give credit to Bush for the economy. In other words, it's what happens on your watch. So if Obama's going to take blame for the economy, he needs to get credit for this.
Thank you. I want to say that our top investigative reporter here at MSNBC and NBC, actually MSNBC, is Mike Isikoff, says that it was waterboarding had no role in the finding and killing of bin Laden. Anyway, thank you, Jonathan Alder, and thank you, Josh Marshall. And Isikoff is the best in the business.